Today we will continue to talk about APAC, and this time we will talk about a country that is known for its amazing climate, beaches, koalas, kangaroos, and probably the kindest and funniest people in the world. With a population of over 26 million people, Australia is home to Wesfarmers, one of the country's largest listed companies with super diverse business operations. That include from home improvement to apparel, energy, health, and so on. While I was at NRF in Singapore, I sat down with Nicole Sheffield. She is the managing director of OneDigital, which was established in 2022 and brings together the group's digitally native businesses, including OnePass membership program, the Catch marketplace, and OneData, which holds transaction and behavior data that comes from each division across the group. Nicole is also the president of Australian Retailers Association and is an influential voice in business, media, and women's issues. In this episode, we'll talk about all that. Here's Paula Macaggi, and this is episode 28 of my show. Welcome to OFFBounds. Welcome to the show, Nicole.
Thank you. Very excited to be here.
So our audience is not located in the region, so they might need an explanation about what is Wesfarmers and what is OneDigital.
I think a lot of people in the region still need an explanation because Wesfarmers is actually a conglomerate. So it's not a retail brand, but it owns the biggest retailers in the country. So Bunnings, which is a very big homeware store. So think Home Depot. Kmart, very successful in Australia. 1 in 5 items of clothing are bought at Kmart. So they have a very big private label brand called Anko. Target, which is well known around the world. Officeworks, Priceline, which is our health and beauty range. So there's these amazing, fantastic retailers. We do about $33 billion last year. We do about 210 million transactions a week. We're sizable. OneDigital is Wesfarmers OneDigital. We launched 2 years ago. And it really is bringing all of the data that comes from all of these divisions and the data that comes from our loyalty program called Flybuys, which is a joint venture with a supermarket called Coles, building out a data asset and also building out new programs. And the first big program that we launched was OnePass, a subscription program which launched just over a year ago. And that actually is joining all of these divisions, all these brands or banners all together in one single program.
That means a lot of data to manage and get insights from.
That's right, a lot of data.
And that's what you're leading, right? So
I'm managing director of OneDigital, which is actually a new business. And actually, I think retailers are great at acquiring and transforming. Like we're really good at fixing things and fixing problems, but actually startups in a traditional retail environment are unusual, right? So there's been a real challenge because you've got these like 100-year-old companies and you're using that data to create new businesses and new opportunities that will also drive value to the customer, drive value back into those banners of those businesses so that they can actually go, this is really working for me as well.
And you said that it's a new business, so it was launched like 3 years ago.
As a business, 3 years ago.
Was that incentivized by the COVID? It was catalyzed by COVID or the pandemic, the understanding of the digital?
We had a new CEO that joined Wesfarmers and he really had a passion for data and digital. And whilst we were amazing big box retailers, we were very much in store. So the vision was set, we want to be leaders in data and digital. So the first thing that we did was we bought a business called Catch, which was a marketplace business in Australia. It was the #1 marketplace. And really for us, Amazon was just launching in the market. So Catch was this marketplace. Then the next thing we did was we built out a shared data analytics capability and really talent. Like how do you attract talent? A traditional business, like people are like Wesfarmers.
What
am I? So you had to really think about that. And then the third pillar was, okay, what programs and businesses are you going to launch with that pillar? So COVID was a big accelerator, particularly Melbourne had the biggest lockdown in the world. So a lot of our stores were closed. So all of our online shopping behaviour, like massive online shopping, because that's all that customers could do. So that really drove the need. We really need to get to understand these customers and we need to really improve the customer experience for them online and get data that helps us improve what we do.
And you already had the loyalty programs, or you decided to create this loyalty program after that?
Yeah, so the way we look at it is Flybuys is a points-based loyalty program. So you scan, you earn points over time, you collect enough points so then you can redeem points. Really valuable.
That's a traditional loyalty
very
scheme
traditional.
that we are used to.
Yeah. And that's the one that we've joint ventured with Coles, a very big supermarket retailer in Australia. So very important for that reason. But the challenge with that is it's a 30-year-old program, and so there's a certain amount of consent that wasn't created. And also, when you're thinking about your most loyal customer engaged, how do I actually join something that I get immediate value? So if you're a OnePass subscriber, you shop, you immediately get free delivery on all purchases, right, that are included. You get 5 times Flybuys points. So you might earn points, but you earn a lot of points faster if you're a OnePass member. You get 365-day returns on all your products that you buy. So, you know, that's peace of mind. You get faster express click and collect. And the other thing that our members really like is you get early access to special events. And so you think Black Friday is such a big event now. So you get access 48 hours before any other person in Australia to the early access offers that our divisions offer. And that is a really big engagement driver. So for us, whereas the points is really important, but it's saving points to buy a single item. Member is actually experiencing a whole program.
But what you're saying is almost like it makes no sense to not be part of it.
Yeah, that's right. I think so.
And what have you learned from this program?
We learn every day. You know, data and customers are not easy. Like they're changing, they're learning. At the moment, the whole world is very value driven. We're really looking at value and how do I get the most. So for us, it's really about ensuring that we understand their behaviours and what's going to make them want to be part of our ecosystem. So when we think about it, we sort of create metrics that we can measure that are really important. So we know as soon as a member joins, the shop goes up by 25%. We also know they're 3 times greater omni-channel shoppers than non-members. So that means that by becoming a member, they are more valuable. But it's not just attracting them, it's why we want them to shop is actually they stay with the program. And I think that's a really big part of what we've learned about this behaviour. So for example, in our business, we have this model which is 3-2-1. They need to shop 3 times in the first month across 2 different divisions and either link to Flybuys or Sister Club, which is the Priceline business's loyalty program, to get value. If we get that, we know that they'll save for a year or more and they're going to be engaged in the program.
So the 3-2-1 is something that you ask for the consumers, that in order to get this value, you need to do this, or they
we just offer them offers, right? We give them $10 vouchers at Catch. We get 10 times points if you shop in Kmart this weekend. So immediately it gets them shopping, they get excited and they go, oh, I didn't know Catch, I might try that out. And so all of a sudden you've got consent now, you can market to them, you can market new opportunities, new offers, and that's what actually starts the flywheel going.
That's very interesting because you just use the word consent. So they see the value, they are comfortable in giving this data to you because they clearly see how they're going to benefit from it.
Yeah, very much so. And that's really important to us. You know, privacy is a big concern for everyone and consent is really important, but you are happy to actually give up your data if you feel like it's a fair value exchange. And so that's a really big part of the program, that the data is used to actually improve. We have over 65% open rates on our emails, for example.
Wow.
You know, you think about that.
Which is like 3%.
Yeah, like literally, that's more than any one of our other divisions. So they're getting value out of the program. So we have to be really respectful of that.
You have Catch, which is the marketplace that you mentioned. You have the OnePass, and there's another...
OneData.
OneData.
So
what is that?
The OneData is the shared data asset. So we've rebuilt the entire data structure of our business. So it includes all the data that comes from all the divisions, as well as the Flybuys data and the OnePass data. And that allows us to build new opportunities and new businesses. So for example, retail media. So you really need your data in the correct framework and actually have the right principles. At the moment, we build attributes based on various use cases that our divisions want. So that, for example, you know, it's back to school, Officeworks wants to make sure that everyone that gets an Officeworks offer for back to school is a parent, because then it's interesting, they'll open the email, much higher chance of being relevant and shopping. So at the moment, we've built out attributes using that data. As we move into retail media, we're going to build on that and start to build out audiences, because audiences are actually what actually drives opportunities for our suppliers, for other vendors, but also ensures that the right information is actually shown to that customer.
You've been audiences is like segmenting this data
that's
to understand like, oh, these are parents.
Yes.
They'll probably buy this.
We bought Catch because we really believe in the marketplace, and the marketplace is very valuable because you can't do everything on your own. And so if you can help other providers offer services to your customers that broadens your categories, like, Catch has at the moment sort of 20 million SKUs, right? You're not going to have 20 million SKUs that you're going to hold inventory in a warehouse, right? No one would do that. But marketplace sellers actually, use us as a platform to actually sell their product. And over time, what we'll do is we'll build out fulfilled by Catch services, which is services that mean those marketplace sellers, we can actually fulfill on their behalf as well to provide the OnePass offers, et cetera. So it becomes this ecosystem that works together.
And how did you get into the data world?
I actually did law. I was a terrible lawyer, and I had a boss at the time who brought me into the office and said, Nicole, you are passionate and commercial, but you are not risk averse, and lawyers have to be manage risk. And
did you take that?
No, I was at first I was a bit upset because I'd spent 5 years getting this degree, and now I'm like, what am I going to do? And he said, go and apply. I got a great job, a graduate program in a very commercial area of telecommunications, and we were launching a digital business at the time, a ISP, internet service provider, and I started to fall in love with the real-time customer interaction that you got in digital. Like, there's no better way of knowing exactly what they think and what they feel, and sometimes it's really harsh, but you know what works, what doesn't, what they're getting, what they're connecting with. So I've really brought that all the way through my career. I then went to media for many years, and the same concept of, people don't just read stories and clickbait and all of that stuff. Actually, no, you're connecting, you're giving them content that they want to continue, like what you do.
Yeah, like
exactly.
what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's right, because people want to connect with you, you understand. And so that's data. That's actually data telling you actually what are the trends that matter, what is having the broadest appeal for audiences. And so for me, that connection to retail, it felt like a full circle. And so I've been very passionate about data because I'm very passionate about customer. And that's what data is, it's human beings.
It is, but I imagine that you need to have a team that thinks like you.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, you're only as good as your team, and I have an amazing team, and I've always worked with great people in my career, and you just have to it's exhausting for people, and at the moment there's a war on talent, so you get a lot of data and digital professionals that are going to get picked, especially by banks and industries that have much deeper pockets. So you really have to keep the work interesting and innovative and really keep them wanting connected, and that's a cultural thing more than a job specific thing,
Yeah, and creating the culture, it's very hard,
Yeah.
Especially for those that are already there. A lot of people are coming knowing the importance of data, but a lot of people are already there and they are trying to understand what data is. So I think you have also the job of explaining how valuable that is.
Yeah, that's right. And I think you're always learning, and this entire generation now just learns differently, involved. Like, everyone's talking about Gen AI, right? So everyone wants to be on all the Gen AI projects. We had a hackathon, 20 squads, 20 Gen AI ideas. Fantastic ideas. But how do you bring that level of excitement and intensity into the day-to-day that we actually solving problems for customers and taking friction out of the customer experience all the time?
So many other technologies are coming, right? Like AI is something that we keep mentioning, and we can talk about AI without talking about data, or data without talking about AI. How do you keep up with all what AI can do, and how do you pick what is convenient for you?
It really comes down to AI is a tool, right? And it's an important tool, and it should help us be more productive. But you've got to start off with what's the business problem we're trying to solve, and then work out how to solve it. And so for me, it's not about keeping up with the solution, it's ensuring that you understand where your customer is and then what problem you're solving for them. So is it that you want to be X faster? Is it that you want to build out a bot that makes your customer service queries go? Are you trying to manage your inventory better? Like, what is it that you're trying to solve, and then how does the Gen AI actually help you solve it? I think that's what it really comes down to.
Do you have a use case that you have tried?
Yeah, we've had lots of use cases. For us, we're seeing a lot of, chatbots, everyone's doing them, but it has definitely made our contact center much more efficient. And then we obviously have, shopping assistants that we're trialing with OnePass. There's lots of different programs of work. The big one is Kmart has introduced RFID, a little robot called Tori that actually has been absolutely massive in managing their inventory. So from a stock take perspective, they know what they've got in store, which means they know what size rises, they need to, so the actual team member knows what they need to replenish. It also goes back to click and collect and what's available in store when you buy online. That's made them really efficient. So there's lots of use cases, and it's really just about how do you constantly ensure that you're solving a real problem and not just a fun tool to build.
Yeah, not just doing like, oh, there's a new toy for us to play,
That's
let's
right.
try it. I'm not familiar with retail in Australia, but as you are president of the Australia Retailers Association, what is particular about the industry in Australia?
Well, look, I think a couple of things. The Australian Retailers Association is over 130 years old. We believe that retail is core to the country. It's the biggest employer in the country. And so for that very reason, it has a very big voice. But what's important is that we actually deal with the issues that matter to our members and that are actually going to make a difference. So we actually have a retail crime problem at the moment in Australia. There's a lot of theft that's happening in stores, not just cyber, but actual, how do we manage that? We've got a retail crime symposium. Sustainability is a big area of importance for our members because customers expect that. So how do we bring that information and unlock opportunities for them involved in Asia PAC conferences or even NRF in New York? We're a little island. We're far away from the rest of the world. How do we take those global trends and bring them back to the country so that we're really actually improving what we're doing? And of course, there's all the media that's required in terms of managing what are the expectations, what's the reaction, when there's labour law changes, what's the impact to the average worker? We've had a number of interest rate rises. So what does that actually mean for household income? And then that obviously impacts retail. So it really is, for me, being president of the association is about making sure that we have a strong voice on behalf of members to ensure that retail, which is such a powerful, important industry, particularly in Australia, has a significant seat at the table.
And have you encountered any challenge in your career by being a woman in such a powerful position?
Look, there's lots of challenges. I don't know that it's been gender related specifically, but I do think, I'm a really great advocate of female leaders. I'm involved in a number of organisations. One of them in Australia is called Chief Executive Women, and our mantra is women leaders enabling women leaders, because we all need help and support different stages of our life. Like, I'm also a mum, I have 4 kids. They're a lot older now, but during that period of life, if I did not have this network of other women, like mum friends, work friends, I wouldn't be in the role I'm in. I think what we're seeing now is finally in Australia, women are breaking through. So the major CEO of Coles is Leah Weckett. She's a female. The incoming CEO of Woolworths, which is another big supermarket in Australia, Amanda, is a female. So we're actually, the CEO of Qantas is now a female, Vanessa. So it's really exciting. We're seeing more of these women finally make it through. Yeah. But I'm sure I'm sure they've got their own stories of challenge.
Yeah. Well, through my career that has a bit over a decade, I've seen a lot of improvements already, and that's from all over the world. So I'm very happy to see what we have been accomplishing throughout these years as well.
That's great.
Yeah. Would you give an advice to other retailers that are exploring how to leverage the data?
I think my great advice is actually make sure you're really clear on your measurement of success, right? There's a lot of data and people can overwhelm. You can drown in data, right? Actually, what's the data that really matters, and how do I keep it real? And data equals customer. So what is it that I'm going to use this data for? And if there's an opportunity to improve what you're doing or drive new sales, fantastic. But also, how can you use that data to create new businesses? And how do you actually bring that startup mentality from the data that you've got so that you can actually accelerate what you're doing? But it's a journey. It will not happen overnight. There is no overnight success story. I wish there was. There's not. It's a journey.
Let's start tomorrow and we're going to have results.
Persevere.
Yeah, you mentioned new businesses, and that's the retail media capabilities that everybody has been talking about. NRF in the US, or NRF here, or any other events that you go. Do you see any other opportunities coming for the industry?
I think retail media is a very obvious one, because actually it gives value back to the customer, because they want ads that are relevant to their buying behaviours, right? But I also think there's opportunities in payments. We're seeing all sorts of innovation around extra types of really, particularly in the payment space, but, insurance, there's lots of different areas that I think we're seeing. Obviously, being retailers, I think the opportunities to really help in our last mile, how we use the gig economy, how are we actually getting efficient, and is that a new business opportunity for someone? We've certainly seen in the US a lot of these retailers actually co-invest in last mile capabilities and fulfillment capabilities. So, for me, there's so many opportunities. So this is a really good time to be in retail.
I agree. And I'm very happy that I can share that with the audience from all over the world. Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, thank you for having me, Paula. All the best.
Yeah, you're just like super inspiring. I just unlocked another role model for me. So.
Thank you so much. Congratulations on all your success. Wonderful to be here.
Thank you so much.